Welcome, Holy Family Parish. Here we are, Father Tom. We look like we're in talk show mode here at Holy Family Parish. We're coming to you live right from our church, and I have a surprise for you today. Today we are going to be introducing to you our new seminarian who will be spending a summer with us in the parish. As you know, seminarians need to work in a parish during the summer so they understand how parishes work. They get involved in the ministries. They visit as much as possible. They do what they can. This year it's a little bit odd because we can't visit hospitals, we can't visit nursing homes because of the whole virus situation, but we still have a seminarian. I would like to welcome today our seminarian who will be spending the summer with us. He will be with us for the next 2 months until the end of August. I would like to welcome Patrick Costello. Patrick?
Great. Thanks for having me, Father.
Patrick, where are you going to school currently, I mean, as far as being a seminarian?
My seminary is the Pontifical North American College in Rome, Italy. So that's the seminary for Americans in Rome. So I'm there with 2 other Green Bay men and about 200 American students total.
So studying in Rome, so what university do you actually study at? I mean, what are you doing? What are you studying?
Well, just like you, Father Tom, I studied 3 years of theology at the Gregorian University, which is the first Jesuit school ever, founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola. There I studied just all the basics of theology that you need to be a priest, from scripture to dogma to canon law to moral theology, everything in between. And I've just finished that course of studies. That's 3 years long, and I have 1 more year of another study. So this coming year I'll study the philosophy and theology, specifically of St. Thomas Aquinas, at the Dominican School, the Angelicum.
Now, as you were growing and deciding to become a priest, where did you study before seminary? So before you entered the seminary, where did you study?
My undergraduate alma mater is the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. I studied oceanography there, was commissioned as an officer in the United States Navy, and served on board the ship, the USS Bonhomme Richard, for 2 years in southern Japan. And after that, entered the seminary in 2015 for the Diocese of Green Bay and the Archdiocese for the Military Services. So I'll go back as a military chaplain, God willing, after some time of service as a priest in Green Bay.
So you were in the military and you're going to continue in the military after you're ordained?
Right, exactly, as a priest.
Excellent. Now, let's go even farther back. Where were you born and raised? Where do you call home?
Well, I was born in Paris, Texas. My dad worked for Kimberly-Clark, so we moved a lot with different KC locations. But when I was 9 years old, I was moved to Neenah, Wisconsin, St. Margaret Mary Parish, and I grew up there. Went to St. Margaret Mary Elementary School, the Catholic parochial school there, and then went to the public middle school and high school in Neenah.
Okay, so you're local
in
our diocese.
Yeah, I consider home, in Neenah.
So Neenah, Wisconsin.
Right.
So not too far away from
No,
us.
not at all. Just the other side of Lake Winnebago. Grew up on the lake and loved going out there sailing and enjoying the summers and the winters skating and on the snow. So
now, here's the thing. Did you always want to be a priest, or did you decide that later on? What made you come to that decision? That's something that people always ask about.
Yeah, a big part of my experience in discerning what God's call was for my life was seeing the witness of my friends at the Naval Academy. So my roommate, actually, he was from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Providentially, we were together in the same company there, and he left after 2 years after he had a very intense experience in prayer at a mission trip, and he knew he was called to be a priest. When he left, a lot of my friends and I started thinking about priesthood because we'd never asked the question before, what is God's plan for our life? We had our own plans because the Navy, you can kind of plan your career for 20 years, and it was all kind of automatic in that way. But we started to do some discernment groups, and a priest there actually, really in confidence, kind of stepped out and told me that, hey, I see some signs of a priestly vocation in your life. And because I trusted his judgment, I knew I had to seriously look at that. So it began a process of prayer, which 4 years later resulted in going to the seminary.
So it was in the Naval Academy that you made the decision. Did you have a strong spiritual life growing up? Did your family practice the faith? Was Mass attendance? So what was your faith life like growing up?
Yeah, certainly we prayed at every mealtime. We went to every Sunday, Holy Day of Obligation. My grandparents were big on the rosary, so anytime they were around, we would pray the rosary. So that was a part of my spirituality as a little boy. Usually when I was with my grandparents, always praying Our Lady's Prayer, and also going on pilgrimages to various sites. That was an important part of the spirituality, journeying with Christ. And so I think just over the years it really grew. And then when I was introduced to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, maybe around sophomore year of high school, I started to really want to know more about my faith. And when I was doing that reading, it really enlightened me on a lot of what we believe as Catholics and got me very excited about being Catholic, and especially about the Eucharist, being the actual body and blood of Christ.
Oftentimes people, they have a favorite saint, and that favorite saint sort of inspired them in their spiritual life, how they approach Jesus. Do you have a favorite saint?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of favorite saints, like a lot of people do, but one in particular who I think really inspired me to go to the next level in my spiritual life was Saint Therese of Lisieux. I had heard about her, and in my sophomore year of college, I decided I would read her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, because I'd always heard it referenced. Now, the thing was, I was really strapped for time in the Naval Academy, so I decided I did very poorly in math class, and I wasn't learning anything in the lectures, so you had to be there. It was not a question of you could skip. You never could do that at the Naval Academy. But when I was in class, I would read Story of a Soul. I'd actually have my math book here, and then I put the Story of a Soul on top. I don't recommend this for students, but this is what I did. And I was enjoying it, and I was getting a lot of pages done in these lectures. Well, one of my friends found out about this, and he said, you really shouldn't be doing that, because when you're in math class, you should be doing math, right? In justice to your teacher, you should be paying attention to his material, not to your own whatever you want to do. I don't care if it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever. You just can't be doing that. So I said, well, I disagree with that, and we decided we're going to have this judged by the priest. So we went to the priest, and my friend said, Father Parisi, Patrick here is not paying attention in math class. He's not paying, proper respect and justice to his teacher because he's reading a book in class. And I said, but Father, it's a good book. It's a spiritual book. And so why can't I do that? I don't learn anything about math anyway. And so the priest very wisely just said, so Patrick, what book is it? And I said, well, it's this great book. It's The Story of a Soul by St. Therese of Lisieux. And I remember him just looking at me and saying, and he made no adjudication of the case or anything like that. But later he did. He was the same priest that came and said, "You may have a sign of a priestly vocation." And as I've been in seminary, I've realized that Saint Therese, a big part of her spirituality and what she wanted to do from heaven, was intercede for priests and for seminarians and for young men who's God calling to be a priest. So I see her as kind of the reason that I became a seminarian.
So, if you're a seminarian now, you're preparing for the priesthood, when are you ordained? What's your next step?
God willing, I'll be ordained back in Rome as a deacon on October 1st, which is actually the feast day of St. Therese, so I'm very excited about that. And then next summer would be priesthood ordination back here in Diocese of Green Bay.
So within a year, you could be ordained a priest?
Yeah, God willing, that's what will happen, to be on track for that.
So being here this summer, what's your hope to do with Holy Family Parish?
Well, with Holy Family Parish, I just want to pray, spend time, learn with the community. I'm really excited to be here. Never gotten the chance to be over on this side of the Green Bay Diocese, so I love seeing the cornfields outside the church window, and I'm excited to maybe get to visit some of the farms, get to see some of the manufacturing in town that happens here, and just hear about how families live their faith here in Brillion, Wisconsin.
So you haven't had a lot of experience with the rural idea, the rural way of life. Visiting a farm would be interesting. With visiting a farm, would you be willing to help bale hay?
Absolutely.
And help some of our farmers do some of their work if you were called out?
Absolutely. Please contact me. I'll be at the parish anytime you need help. Want to show me anything? give me a call.
Would you be adverse to being invited out to eat by certain families and their homes?
No, that's good too. If you want to have out to eat, I'll do that, or I'll bale your hay and then we can have a meal, whatever. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so just so all of you know, Patrick again will be with us for the next 2 months. He wants to be involved. Say hello to him when you see him, and I really hope that you get to know him. And then when he is ordained, we can be part of that celebration. Maybe he can even come back and be a deacon for us, unless he gets ordained right away, and then we have to wait. So I take advantage of it. On Sunday, say hello. We'll reintroduce him at all of the Masses. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and things are continuing to go great at Holy Family as we move forward through all of this. God bless you all, and have a wonderful day.